Title: My 35M wife, 34F, cheated. Here's how I found out and what followed. 2022, North Carolina. D-Day, Discovery Day. It started with a gut feeling. We've been married for 10 years, 2 kids, 8M, 6F, and everything seemed normal until it wasn't. My wife, Sarah, became distant around mid-2022. She started working late more often, constantly on her phone, and became overly protective of it. Our intimacy dropped significantly, and I felt like I was being pushed aside. I chalked it up to stress at first, but something just fell off. One night in July 2022, she left her phone on the kitchen counter while in the shower. A notification popped up, "Can't wait to see you again." My heart dropped. The message was from a guy named Ethan, a name I didn't recognize. I knew then that something was very, very wrong. Realization and initial anger. I felt my entire world crumble. At first, I wanted to believe it was innocent, maybe a coworker or a misunderstanding. But deep down, I knew. The anger hit like a freight train, but I forced myself to stay calm. I needed to know the truth before making any accusations. Instead of confronting her right away, I played it smart. I took a photo of the notification with my own phone and put hers back exactly as it was. That night, I barely slept, my mind racing with possibilities. Rationalization and gathering evidence. I decided to dig before acting. If I was going to confront her, I needed undeniable proof. The next day, I checked our phone bill records online, something I'd never done before. There was hundreds of messages and calls between her and an unknown number, especially late at night and during her so-called work meetings. I bought a cheap voice-activated recorder and placed it in her car. A week later, I retrieved it and listened. What I heard shattered me. Conversations about meeting up, about how I was boring, and how she was finally happy. They even joked about me being clueless. At this point, I knew I needed professional help. I hired a private investigator. Over the next 2 weeks, he followed her and collected photos of her meeting Ethan, kissing in public, going into hotels. That was my hard proof. The guilt and the divorce lawyer. Despite my anger, guilt started creeping in. Had I been neglecting her? Had I become too comfortable? But then I reminded myself, nothing justifies betrayal. If she was unhappy, she had every opportunity to talk to me, to work on things, or to end it honorably. Instead, she chose deception. I booked a consultation with a divorce lawyer in late August 2022. Since I live in North Carolina, one of the few states where infidelity can impact alimony and divorce settlements, my lawyer advised me to be strategic. She walked me through the process, child custody, financial considerations, and how best to proceed without making emotional mistakes. The exposure and confrontation. I wasn't going to let her manipulate the narrative. Once I had everything in place, I confronted her. I laid out the evidence, printed phone records, photos, recordings. Her face drained of color. At first, she denied, then she tried to turn it on me, saying I must have been spying because I didn't trust her. Classic deflection. Then came the tears, the begging. "It was a mistake, I love you." I wasn't buying it. I told her I had already spoken to a lawyer, and we were done. She went from apologetic to furious, claiming I was ruining our family. No, she ruined it the moment she decided to cheat. Update 1. Divorce process and outcome. Since I had overwhelming proof, my lawyer ensured we had a strong case. By September 2022, I officially filed for divorce. North Carolina has a mandatory 1-year separation period before divorce can be finalized. But in the meantime, I filed for temporary orders regarding child custody and financial responsibilities. Since I had been the primary provider, I had to pay temporary spousal support, but my lawyer fought for fair custody. Sarah tried to manipulate the kids, saying I was breaking up the family. I made sure to be present, calm, and reassuring. I documented everything, every interaction, and every attempt she made to alienate me from them. The process dragged, but by March 2023, I had full documentation proving she was an unfit primary parent due to her instability post-affair. By the time the court finalized our arrangements, I got 60-40 its custody in my favor. She fought for more, but the evidence of her infidelity, her emotional outbursts, and her lies hurt her case. I also managed to keep the house, while she took a smaller settlement. Update 2. The aftermath and emotional toll. This was the hardest thing I've ever been through. The emotional toll was devastating. Some nights, I felt like I failed my family, even though I knew I did the right thing. Therapy helped, both for me and my kids. I started to heal, but trust? That was going to take a long time to rebuild. Sarah, on the other hand, spiraled. She kept trying to reach out, sending late-night texts about how she missed me, how she made a mistake. I never responded. My lawyer advised me to keep everything in writing and only communicate through email regarding the kids. The hardest part was watching my kids struggle with the transition. They love their mom, and no matter what she did to me, I refused to turn them against her. I made sure they knew they were loved, that the separation wasn't their fault, and that they would always have me. I fought for their stability, while Sarah continued her downward spiral, switching jobs, moving apartments, and ultimately struggling to keep it together. Final update: moving on and finding peace. A full year later, I can finally say I'm in a better place. I'm focusing on my kids, my career, and myself. The thought of dating again is daunting, but I know I'll get there. My ex, she's still with Ethan, but from what I hear, their happiness isn't so perfect anymore. Not my problem. Life moves on, and so did I. I've reconnected with old friends, picked up hobbies I had long neglected, and focused on being the best father I can be. I won't lie and say I don't have my bad days. There are moments where I still feel anger, where I wonder why she did this to our family. But I've learned that I can't control the past. I can only build a better future. To anyone going through this, trust your gut. Don't react emotionally. Gather evidence. Protect yourself legally. And above all, remember that you deserve honesty and respect in a relationship. Stay strong, and thanks for reading.